Okay, so right side of the bias to the wrong side of the garment, 1/4 inch seam, turn back a 1/4 inch to get started, and start stitching. All right, so now this first seam that I'm gonna cross, oops, I forgot to overlap on that, is I'm gonna press it toward the back. And someone asked, at home you can zigzag or overlock these seams, whatever you have available to you. Again, I'm just kind of turning the bias with the neckline. Now, if I used a straight grain piece, this wouldn't work. The bias wouldn't, the straight grain won't turn like this. So it needs to be biased. You need a little, you need to fold back 1 1/4 inches so you don't run short. Okay. Is the camera at the right angle?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I'm going to bring the bias to the right side, keeping that pressed inward. Fold a 1/4, and then a 1/4 again right on top of that seam.
Are you stitching in the dip?
Nope, I'm going to top stitch.
Okay.
Stitching right on top of the previous seam. So line it up. And what the operators that we have at work, they have an attachment that folds this for them, so it's very accurate. But I find that with bias, it folds itself in. So when you start stitching this way, it should just fold itself in. It's easier than trying to press it and burning your fingers on these little pieces. There's a lot of different ways to sew bias. This is one of my preferred ways when I don't have a folder.
I have folders next week, like when I have do a lot of it, I will make a lot of it and then round it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm just doing a piece like that, I just.
Yeah. So you just continue like this. And then I'm going to fold this last little part inward. And then finish it off. I can't quite see it, but I'm going to go ahead and finish that off and trim it. Okay, so the last part of the sample, after you've finished all your edges and finished the neckline with the bias, we can leave the sleeves unfinished, but this is what it should look like on your garment as well. If you're doing the armhole to princess, if you're doing the classroom sample, you don't need to see these seams, but I want you to do the sample to have that practice, okay? So because this piece is cut on the true bias, you get a nice rounded shape. The last step is to simply sew a hem. So you're going to, again, fold and fold again. You can press this in, or you can do it with your fingers like this. Again, if you have a professional folder, that works as well. But just to have a finish, do a little practice small hem. Okay, so back seam toward the back. Fold your seams as you go and cross over them. The back seams go toward the back. Side seams go toward the back. And this is something I look at when I'm grading, that the seams are pressed in the right direction when you're hemming. And then on the front, they go towards center front. This is center front here, so this one goes towards center front. And I'm reversing now that I'm going back to the other side. Back seam toward the back, and finish your hem. Okay, so that's what I'd like you to do. When this goes into your folder, again, find a garment with a neckline that has a bias finish on the neckline. If it has a princess, so much the better, or a princess and just indicate bias. Find a nice photo, a nice fashion photo. And then we're not going to see the armholes, so you can just place it into your plastic sleeve, showing that it has the princess, or place it on the fold like so, however it fits in the sleeve, and turn it in. So that'll be due at the beginning of class next week. I'm going to start now without the film.